webinar. Hope you guys are excited to start. Hey, before we continue on and further, my name is Josh. I'll be your guys' host for tonight's webinar, and I'm so excited. Welcoming you guys to tonight's webinar titled Embracing Disruption, Transforming Fear into Business Opportunity. Now, before we even get into this webinar, I just want to say hi to you guys. I want to thank you for joining. I'm looking at the participants column. So many incredible people. Can I just ask you guys right now, I don't know where you are in this world, because this is what's awesome about technology. We are spread out all over the world. So can you get in the Zoom chat? That's right. I'm asking you right now to get in the Zoom chat. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What city are you tuning in from? I would like to know who you are, growthpreneurs. So get into that Zoom chat right now. That's right, people. This is an interactive live webinar. Thank you so much. Hello from Bali. Thank you so much, Ibnu from Depok. So incredible. Look, see, I told you, we're not all in one place. Who else? Who else? Where else are people tuning in from? Nina from the UK. Welcome, Nina. Clarice from the Philippines. Wow, this is so exciting, guys. We are all over the place. Alia is in Jakarta. Hello, Alia. Welcome. Thank you so much. Oh, hello. Where did it happen to my... Sorry, guys. My camera freaked out. Where else? Where else? Avin's from Jakarta. Hello, Avin. Thanks for joining. Where else are everybody joining in from? Sorry, guys. My camera's kind of freaking out there. There you go. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We still want to know where you're coming in from, what city, and if you want to share, what do you... Maybe you guys are a business owner, because again, a lot of business owners are joining. Tell me about your company. You can do a little self promo. I will allow it. Put it in the Zoom chat. You can put your Instagram account, or you can just share where you're coming from. Because you know what, we get to network tonight as well, people. This isn't just a one-way seating webinar kind of thing you just watch, but we want you to be a part of what's happening tonight. So, hello, Rama from Palembang. Look at this again. This is incredible. We are spread out all over Southeast Asia as well as the UK. So we're in Europe as well tonight. This is so cool. So let's just get into it, because I know you guys didn't come here to see me here talk, but I want to share with you guys tonight in this webinar, we're going to have two incredible speakers who will explore the topic of disruption and how to embrace it and turn it into an opportunity for business growth. We're going to talk about a few various things, such as the role of artificial intelligence and technology in disrupting industries, right? We're in the disruption era now. Also, we don't want to just talk about it, but we want to give you practical tips on how to approach and navigate these disruptive changes in your industry. So you guys are going to walk out of here with something. You're not walking out of here empty-handed. And finally, we're going to talk about this exponential organization framework that's going to allow entrepreneurs such as yourself to thrive in these times of disruption. So I hope if you got a notebook, this is a time to take notes, or maybe you want to open a notes app. But again, don't just listen to it, but I want you guys to be engaged, be a part of this. And like I said, since this is a live webinar, this is not a pre-recorded thing, I want you guys to get into the Zoom chat and interact with me. Okay, I'm gonna feel really sad if I'm talking to just the camera here. So get in there. I see Ibnu's giving me some smiley faces and a rocket ship. To me, that communicates he's really excited and he's ready to rocket into the sky. Anything else, I'm ready for it. So get in that Zoom chat. If you guys are ready, give me a thumbs up. You can do that with the reaction. You can do that in the Zoom chat. I see you, Inyoman. Thank you so much. Robbie's giving me a thumbs up. Ready to go. Who else is ready? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are ready to go, because I won't start till you're ready. Okay, I want to know that you're there. We are ready to go. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into it, guys, because I want to introduce to you who our speakers are tonight. Again, tonight is for you guys to get valuable insights and knowledge. Make sure you ask the questions. Get in the Zoom chat, because this is interactive. We're going to have a Q&A session. And my hope is that by the end of this webinar, you're going to have a very clear understanding of how to embrace this disruption era, or embrace disruption as a catalyst for your innovation and also this growth that you're going to experience in your own business. Okay, guys? So let's get into it with our first speaker. I'm going to introduce him. His name is Maxim Mulyadi. Maxim prefers to be called Mr. Pink because his mission in life is to prosper, inspire, and nurture kindness. He's a circularity entrepreneur and business life coach with a bold conviction that profit, people, and planet can exist in perfect harmony, accessible for all businesses. Mr. Pink brings a circular approach to business coaching that will drive innovation in the companies of tomorrow. He's a member of the Entrepreneurs Organization and the co-founder and owner of Pelangi Water. He's also the co-founder of a.k.a. Consulting and founder of Circularity International, certified story brand guide, scaling up coach, business made simple coach, Gallup strengths coach, open exo sprint coach. He's a coach, guys. Mr. Ping is also a futurist. He leveraged the incredible power of technology to help you build habits, processes, and systems that will transform your life and your company. Good evening, Maxim. How are you doing tonight, man?
Hello. It can be evening, but it's always a good morning, Mr. Sunshine, to me.
That's right, man. It's morning somewhere in this world. I'm sure it's like afternoon for our friend that's in the UK right now. So good afternoon and good evening to everybody as well. Maxim, really excited, man, because I love your bio here. It's talking about how you're very future-minded. You're a coach. You're here to just help and inspire people. That's your life mission, right? To prosper, inspire, nurture kindness. So I'm really excited to chat with you tonight. Thank you so much. And again, guys, in the Zoom chat, I've actually had the team here post the LinkedIn profile to Maxim and our second speaker tonight, which, by the way, his name is Younis Hijazi. Younis helps visionary CEOs of 1 billion plus companies optimize their revenue and create the 10x business models through a 10-week sprint using the EXO methodology. He was an active member of the Singularity University community in 2017 to 2022 and is an active member of the Global Open EXO community. Younis launched 10x Indonesia this year with a mission to infuse the 10x mindset in Indonesia. Good evening, Younis.
Hello, Josh. Hello, Maxim. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you as well. Thanks so much.
To see you and to see everyone also connected.
Yeah, we've got so many people here tonight. So excited. Yeah. We're going to have a great convo and everybody's going to walk out of here just feeling empowered and transformed. That's my belief, yeah. So like I said, guys, in the Zoom chat, we've dropped in a few links where you can get connected with Maxim and Younis. These two guys are so passionate about helping other entrepreneurs and business leaders. You don't want to mix them out. Make sure you can even book a free call. By the way, there's a free giveaway. There's a few giveaways actually by the end of this webinar. So stay tuned because you guys don't want to miss out. Only the people that join tonight's webinar will get something incredible. So without further ado, Maxim and Younis, thank you guys again for joining, because tonight we are talking about this idea of this post-pandemic world that we're in, right? The WHO, the World Health Organization, has officially stated last week that COVID is ended. We are done, right? It is not a pandemic anymore. So now we are what's called in the post-pandemic era. And let's just be honest, right? I'm pretty sure I'm talking to a few entrepreneurs in the room right now that have also struggled and had very many challenges throughout the past 3 years with the pandemic, right? But now we're at the end of it. And we gotta learn to keep adapting, right? Only the ones that have adapted and evolved have made it through this pandemic. But now it's kind of scary because there's a lot of things popping up, and again there's this idea of this thing called artificial intelligence, which has been the buzz in the business community. That a lot of business owners are like, oh my gosh, what is this? Even workers are worried that artificial intelligence is going to take over their jobs, right? So I want to ask this question. Let's get this discussion started. Remember, people, if you have a question, if you have a comment, put it in the Zoom chat so that we can interact with our speakers tonight. But I want to know, what would you guys say are the biggest fears that businesses have in today's post-pandemic world with the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence? Younis, what do you think, man?
Thank you, Josh, for this question. Actually, I've been talking to many people, many business leaders recently. One thing that came up was they don't even know where to start. So there are so many things happening. AI, artificial intelligence, is one of many exponential technologies, but it's the one that is the most prominent at the moment, because we reached a tipping point. People thought it would be much later. So it's like you have all these things happening. If you just look at AI alone, you have tens of tools. Like every day you have new apps, new services, AI-based services, that it's impossible to keep up. So you need a dedicated team just to keep up. So there are now services that get specialized into, you can outsource that with people who test the apps for you, and they come up with a toolbox and I registered for an AI sprint myself to be up to date all the time, because we are preaching exponential technologies and fast change. So we need also constantly to adapt. And you see, Maxim has all these titles, all these certifications from all these frameworks, because as coaches, we must be all the time up to date with what is happening. So I don't need myself to test all the apps, but I can find people, colleagues from the network. And I see that that's a big pain, is where to start. And also a big fear is the fear of the competition embracing these technologies. If your direct competitor, which is bigger than you and you're already struggling, starts embracing those tech, it's just a matter of when you will be out of business, not a matter of if. And that's what we are trying to promote here, the mindset of exponential technologies, and how you can use these exponential technologies, embrace them, not fear them, and you can grow along with the exponential tech.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that one of the fears are, number one, this new technologies, these artificial intelligence technologies and applications and all these things that are like, okay, as a business owner, what do I do? What do I use? Because I'm just trying to make it through. I'm just trying to get together with my team and make it through. But then now there's all this technology. That's the first fear. And then there's the fear of my competitors or the bigger companies adapting it. And it's like, oh man, they're figuring it out. I feel like I got to figure out too. I just figured out how to use the internet yesterday. What is all this artificial intelligence thing that is now the new big thing? Maxim, what do you think about this, man?
Well, I've been in EO, Entrepreneur Organization. Maybe some of you have heard of it. So even in EO themselves, is about 16,000 strong members worldwide. We have a special group dedicated, believe it or not, like 2 or 3 forum about AI. So every day there's always something discussion. There's, again, like what Younis said, there is new tools for everything you can or anything you can think of. And also there is a notion of like, okay, whose job this AI is going to replace? By when? Is it imminent yet? And what should I do to prepare? This kind of question. And of course, at this beginning, if our industry is far away from technology, we'll be thinking like, okay, maybe when is it going to come to my industry? And if it comes, the question begin to change from who, not how. Because if, let's say, it become a how, you are probably already 10 to 100 steps behind to start learning already. So a shortcut to this fear or antidote to this fear is who, and where can I find this who? So the who may not be even in the country. And again, if many of you are Indonesian, the Indonesian policy of firing people or laying off people, it can be very costly, even with the new law, right? So if, let's say, this AI gonna impact your industry radically, what would be that financial cost if we have to remove people or replace it with AI? Because it's gonna be 10x your cost and overhead. It's gonna be 10x cheaper and lower. Yeah, so I think this is some of the things that I'm hearing from my fellow friends, wherever the forum was.
And that's like a lot of employees are having that fear as well. It's like, what if my job gets replaced? So from the bottom view, it's like I may not have a job, but then from the manager point of view, it's like I may have to get rid of these people and find a more cost-effective option, which is the technology out there. So again, so many different fears, a lot of different challenges, a lot of different like, oh man, right? This is the mindset that a lot of people have. It's what do we do? How do we address this? But there are some businesses that we could argue have a different mindset, a different approach to these challenges and fears, right? And they're the ones that are figuring it out. They're the ones that are adapting. So from your experience, Younis and Maxim, again, you guys have worked with entrepreneurs. You guys are again here to want to develop other business owners. What would you say, like how can some businesses be those successful ones? How can they be more successful than others in navigating these challenges, these fears, these disruptive changes, right, in their industry? What do you guys think?
I'll start, Maxim. It's okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead, Younis.
Go ahead.
So this question is I believe you need to give autonomy to people in your organization and also allow them to experiment. And we'll discuss about that later. Those are two ingredients of the 11 of what is an EXO to be an exponential organization. And we'll talk about this later. So if you empower people, if you give them the trust and a safe space where within the organization, completely internally or with partners, they can experiment, they can test those tools. So usually what happens is you test those tools in your private life, and then you go to work and you talk to your colleagues. Look, I did this thing with AI, or I tested ChatGPT for some maybe I can use it for work. Sometimes it starts like that. You use it in your day-to-day in your on the private side, and then you bring those technologies, and you can see that the technologies usually the tools that you use for yourself, the latest iPhone, Samsung, all those devices are the cutting edge because you have control. You don't need to go through several approvals to get these devices or this software. You just click and you go to the shop, you buy it. When you're in a big organization, a large organization, you have all these layers. You cannot easily test any tool you want. You need the approval from the IT department. So it's really important to have this platform where people feel safe to innovate and fail. I put fail in bracket because it's mostly about learnings. It's when we say failure, it's you're one step more towards your goal. You're closer to your goal by failing. And I think this is really the mindset of failing forward is very important because without experimentation, you cannot learn.
But Younis, this is good. So you're saying that just start to use it, start to apply it, not just in your start to use these tools because again, they are easily accessible nowadays, right? As opposed to before, and use these tools. And you're saying bring it into your professional life, share it with others. My thinking though is, what about those businesses? What about those leaders that aren't yet open to using these kinds of technologies because they just simply don't understand it? What do we do with that?
The first step towards transformation, if you want to transform yourself as an individual or an organization, it's the same thing. You need to commit. You need to be open to transformation. No one can force you as an individual, Josh, say, no, you will do this like that, and I want you to read those books. Okay, maybe you will read 3 pages and you'll stop. It's the same. If you're a CEO or board member of a company, it needs to come from the inside. There needs to be this burning desire of transformation. And then you'll find the tools. There are plenty of tools for transformation. The EXO is one model. But first, there needs to be the willingness to transform, the openness, and to be a little bit also humble and just trust to not to be too controlling. And this is the same if you transform an individual or an organization, whatever the size of the organization.
Wow, this is key. I don't know if anybody wrote that down, but what Younis is saying is so key for leaders. So if you're an organizational leader here right now, if you want to see transformation happen, it's to just transforming, right? It starts there. It can't just be talking about the tools or being afraid of it or seeing what's happening. But this is so good, Younis. Maxim, let's dive into this. What do you think, man?
Well, so for me, let me start from the big boys first, right? So I invested and traded in the US market, so I pay attention if you heard about the Silicon Valley Bank. So that financial fiasco actually created a sector rotation and money are moving towards the tech sector. That's why you see all the tech stocks are going up. So I just want to highlight the two giants here, right? So because these two giants, actually, they have a similar business model, I would say, which is actually a model of in the exponential organization. Think of Microsoft and Google. Think of the product that you use actually every day, right? But when you look at the stock result and their earning, why Microsoft is like way high? I mean, like, of course, it was also partly they invested in ChatGPT and it happened to boom and they can integrate all the ChatGPT into their product. So even Google already experimented with AI, with all that machine learning. it's like beating all the best Go player in the world. But why not is launching sooner? Why? So there is a certain power of the power of community, which actually Microsoft has been doing. If you see the portfolio of Microsoft, they own GitHub, the coding community, and then they also have a big stake in ChatGPT. They have like the LinkedIn, which Google used to have an ecosystem of social media, but it's no more. So there's the power play of ecosystem. Then which ecosystem is actually ready to embrace this technology better? So now if let's say we reduce it to our scale, these are like giant ecosystem. There's no way we can match in such a short time. So that's also the thing that I ask myself after I get the book, Exponential Organization. I start reading it. That's why I become a sprint coach, because I'm thinking about what is the next big thing? What is the next thing that I need to develop in my business? I mean, I came from a brick and mortar mineral water manufacturing and distribution. Like what could be more go beyond that? Is water, right? Everybody drink water. But you know what? I found that there's a trend of the renewable energy, and the water from atmosphere is actually much better and much more, 8 times more than the water underground. And of course, the pollution was one of the solution, one of the issue, but it's actually not damaging the underwater ecosystem. So there's this new possibility, and the price are going down. So okay, it's just a matter of time before water from atmosphere is coming to my zone, and this has actually been used in many warring states or places where water are lacking. So sooner or later, it's gonna come to you. Think of Gojek, Grab. Those transportation, I mean, like in my city, no more taxi, only Grab and Gojek. So you will never know. You will never know.
So this idea of networking, number one, is important. Yeah. And just being aware of how the big ones are what they're doing, right?
Yes.
And I think again, as a leader, we have to have, like, starting with what Younis said, we have to have that humility to be open to learning, to wanting to grow, right? And not be afraid of it. And Maxim, you're saying, like, yeah, be connected, be informed, know what's going on in the world, rather than just sit there and wait for something to happen. Because like you said, it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. And you're either going to be on one side or you're not going to be anywhere, which is unfortunate. So guys, by the way, keep your questions coming, get involved in this discussion. I already see one question there. We're going to address that. So keep it coming, guys. But Younis, you kind of talked about the one of the tools, this exponential organization, and this framework. Can you talk about that? And maybe what I understand is this exponential organization framework, it can help entrepreneurs, right, really go through what's going on right now, through this ups and downs of this economic, this economic phase that we're in. Younis, what do you think, man? What is this exponential organization thing that entrepreneurs and business leaders here could benefit from?
So may I just put up a slide?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
please do.
I will just show this one, and it should be in full screen. Yes.
Yep, looks good.
Perfect. So the exponential organization framework was born in 2014. Salim Ismail is the inventor of this framework. So he was at the time the executive director at Singularity University, which is not a university, but they still do executive programs for C-levels. So you go for around 1 week, and they basically disrupt you. You just get out of there, your industry is disrupted from all sides. So all the leaders who came there, they were super excited, and a bit, of course, they had this fear, but at the same time excitement. And then they asked Salim, what should we do on Monday when we are back at the office? So this trainings happened for 1 week. You have this room of 50 executives together, all these ideas. Then you go back to your office. What do you do? So this was the question, which led to the framework of EXO. So what Salim and his team did, in 2014, and they published the first book, Exponential Organizations, is to analyze what Maxim said just before, to look at all the successful companies, the Google, Facebook, all those companies at the time, very, very successful, and to try to find a common denominator. What do we have like a recipe? Do we have like some ingredients, some elements that we can take out of all those successful companies? And this common denominator is this set of 11 ingredients which defines an exponential organization. So you have the most important one to start with is the HAT, is the massive transformative purpose that you see here in the center. So this is your North Star, that your higher aspirational purpose that will really create the culture of your organization and will communicate. You're not communicating about vision, mission, and all these very long, like 3 sentences statements. You're communicating with something which is easy to remember, which is powerful, and which really explains in just a few words what it is all about, what you're trying to achieve. It's very important. This is, in itself, this is a full day workshop just to work on this concept of massive transformative purpose. You can do it for a person, for a startup, for multinational. It's for a nation, for a country, you can do it as well. So it's a very powerful concept. So this is the HAT. And then you have 2 sets of 5 ingredients, which are you have all these exponential technologies that generate data. So you have all these exponential technologies that generate an abundance of data. How do you capture those data, and then how do you translate that into your processes inside your organization? So the five external attributes that you see on the right: staff on demand, community and crowd, algorithms, leverage assets, engagement. These are the 5 ingredients, the external ones, to manage this, to capture this abundance. And how you translate this abundance internally in your organization, you have these 5 ingredients inside: interfaces, dashboards, experiments, autonomy, social technologies. And we talked already with Maxim and we talked already about autonomy, experiments, social technologies. We talked about AI, which of course is under the algorithms part, and there are many more attributes.
Wow, that's a very incredible framework. That's just and like you said, Younis, this is something that was researched with Google, right? Those high performing, high excelling organizations, because I think it's really great. Like, why try to figure it out on your own when you can just learn from the successful guys, right? And I really like that this framework was designed to help everyone identify what are those key areas that can really have. And again, the machine learning is just one of them. It's one of the areas to look at, right? And like we said, we talked about autonomy, right? Allowing your people to experiment, to fail, to figure it out.
Because if you work in government or in large company, you have like 5, 10, 15
right.
Layers above your head. And so even if you're innovative, it will kill the immune system of the organization, will kill the innovation of individuals or small groups. It will not be sustained.
So, and this is really taking companies on a journey where they're going to have to really rethink, redesign how they do their ways of working, in a sense. Not just, still doing the same thing and adapting tools here or there, but just really just fear the disruption, not just overcome it, but embrace it, right? Taking all these opportunities and really going forward with it. They're going to have to really look at a few different key areas. Maxim, what are you thinking, man, about this framework that we're talking about here?
Yes. So ever since 2019, that's where I started my journey with EXO. It has been bugging my mind since. I even tried to, so in EXO, we call our own business that we have is our core business, right? So we want to build something of different business model, which is the edge. So that is actually what I try to do. So when I co-founded Ikigai Consulting, is actually based on the attributes of this exponential organization. So I look, what is the abundance out there? For Gojek, it was the abundance of object, unorganized object, right? For Airbnb was unutilized space. But what about personal development and well-being? A lot of psychologists and coaches, they do their own things, but no one has united. So this is like the stuff on demand abundance, right? Then this was then kind of COVID is happening, and then like there's this well-being issue. And then what we need what kind of interface to manage all this stuff on demand, and what will be that purpose? So everything was rallied into this ideology of Ikigai. Just now, I came from water. This is like totally different game altogether. This is from water to a game of human. So it's totally a different level. And then when I look at my core business, okay, so the atmosphere thing was a bit far off. So what can I do? So this is actually for the core business, I go back to the basics. Even on that journey, sadly, those people that were with me 5 years ago, growing the company, because of these ways, they are no longer with me. Just because we are not aligned on this vision, and they kind of like not able to catch up. So to follow the trend on how I want to implement the changes. And there's a lot of business process re-engineering that was required. And because of this internal change, it's just that the new culture, the new process, and the system just filter these people off. So then I find out I have my team now that is going with me for the next 5-10 years. So that is the experimenting, and it can be a painful experience emotionally and mentally. It wasn't. Sometimes we look at the book, oh, it's awesome, it's cool, but sometimes the struggle is real, and I totally get it. If let's say you face some of this issue, especially after COVID, we have to adopt all this digitalization and all that. Yeah, so that's what I have to say. Go through the journey one step at a time. There's a saying that the best way to predict the future is to invent it, and the best time to plant a tree was maybe 1,000 years ago. But the second best time is now, to start now.
Maxim, I really like that, man. Thank you so much for inspiring everybody just with your experience as well. And I actually, can we dive in a bit more? And
Sure.
Younis, I'm going to ask for your experience as well. Just what was it first I mean, again, we can learn the hard way, right? Everybody can do it the hard way and really struggle. But I would love to take a chance others. Can you just share, what do you think, where do we start? I mean, I know there's the tools and all these things out there, but where do we start? And Younis kind of touched on it. He touched on the willingness, right? And the openness. But Maxim, what about from you, man? Where should leaders here start? Is it identifying, all the challenges, or is it figuring out restructuring everything, or where do we start, Maxim?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, right? To start.
I'm overwhelmed because I run my own organizations as well, and I'm trying to figure out just how to make it through, right? And so I'm sure other people here who are tuning on and figuring, they're in their own different challenges. But what do you think, man? What's your advice?
I will adopt the advice, famous quote of Sun Tzu. You know your enemy and yourself. You don't need. You be confident the result of 100 battles. So knowing the enemy is like still 50%, or the surrounding is only 50%, but the next 50% is really knowing who you are. You as a person, I'm not talking about your team, knowing who you are. What is your natural talent? Are you someone of execution domain or relationship building domain? Or are you someone who like find a lot of details? So for me, that personal transformation start by knowing myself. That's why my first coaching modality was Gallup, right? A strength-based approach. So I can tap into my strength. And because of that, I also want to know who are in my team. And I see whether my team is actually complementary, ready to take off with me or not. What will it be required if, let's say, I want to go towards that future? What kind of people with what kind of talent? So knowing myself and my team, that tells me a very good foundation of who do I need. No longer how, it's again, who do I need if, let's say, I want to go towards this journey of change and transformation by embracing the technology.
I can already sense the business leaders in here. They're like, "What are you talking about, Maxim? What do you mean I have to know myself? I just need to figure out my team. What are you talking about?" I can already sense that. Younis, what do you got to say on this topic, man? Oh, you're muted again.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
muted. I couldn't unmute myself. Thank you. I love this statement from Maxim. Actually, maybe it's Albert Einstein who said that, or someone else, but there is this quote that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So putting the people at the right place in the organization where they can strive, this is, I agree, it's super important. And once you have the right people at the right place in the organization, you should trust them. Otherwise, there is no point of trying to just control and let them just experiment. And this is extremely important for me as a solopreneur for now, because I'm building the team at 10x Indonesia in Bali, and I'm working a lot with partners, and it's to grow. I believe in working really with when I talk about like finding the right people in my network. That's how I was introduced to Maxim by the Open EXO network, which is a network of 22,000 people. And the first thing I did was to look in our platform. We have like a social part to identify the people in the different places of the world. We are all over the world, and Maxim was one of the few in Indonesia. And I was introduced by Kevin, the chief community officer. And I'm always looking for to find the right people and to work on in our mission, in our values. It's extremely important, because then you enjoy what you're doing, and it's not work. It's just passion. And being here talking about this is I have these discussions very often with my brother, with friends, and having this discussion here, it's very nice. I'm enjoying it, and I think this is the joy is part also of when you start in this journey of transformation. You should have the right people, the people who want to manage. They need to have people management skills. The people who prefer to execute, who are reassured by to do this is great. So you put people in the right places, and you trust them, and you give them autonomy and room for experimentation. And I think this is the best way to start. And in a sprint, when we do sprints with the EXO, we have a very structured way with a continuum that allows for this. It creates this environment of trust and of experimentation. So it's a very good way. It's one of many ways of starting to have an innovation management system. And this is what I've specialized in the past years.
Wow. I'm just so honored to be chatting with you two, because it really just shows that you guys have really figured out this passion of yours to really transform and grow. And it's not with some sort of program or some 5-step process, but it starts with us as leaders, and that what we experience, the transformation that we experience there, is what then the teams and organizations that we lead will experience as well. And I love this the EXO framework that you were sharing earlier, Younis, where it really highlights different areas, different attributes of an organization that really, as we said, it's an exponential organization, which to me, exponential is that it's not a linear. It's not, okay, we'll figure it out on the way. No, it's exponential. Younis and Maxim, I'm sure you guys have personal stories of how this framework has helped companies that you've helped. Can you share maybe one or two experiences of how you've been able to help companies so that others here can get inspired that this is actually real? This isn't a theory, but these are actual applicable steps that you can take. What do you guys think? Younis, you first, man.
So let me tell you about first for the context. So I talked about the 11 ingredients. So the EXO, which is defined with the MTP. So scale ideas. If you want to remember it's a fast way to remember the external and internal attributes, ingredients. And then what's the recipe? What do you do with those? So that's what the sprint is about. We have a 10-week sprint where we use all these ingredients to transform the organization, transform the culture, the management, to become future ready. And so it's all about, you have different phases where you explore what are the trends that are happening right now, what might disrupt my business, if you're an incumbent and you have the startups, what are the startups, the scale-ups that have the potential to disrupt us now or in the coming years? All this research, and then you move towards prototyping. You have a disruption phase in the middle. And then at the end of the 10 weeks, you should have initiatives that are ready, like startups that are ready to kick off, that require investment in people, in finance, in money, really to prepare the investment during the sprint process, so that when you have the excitement with the idea, you just launch the team. Those are usually what Maxim referred to edge. You transform the existing business model and you create new business models. If you're a hotel, you can, for example, a hotel could have come up with the booking business model, or with Airbnb business model, which has nothing to do with selling, with having physical, like building rooms physically. And those are truly new business models, platform business models. And so to come back to your question about yeah, so I lost a bit the track with EXO setting with the sprint. So your question,
just give an example. Can you just share?
My favorite example is Interproducción. It's a Mexican insurance company, and after the sprint, they were able to deliver in 3 days a new product, a new insurance policy, which usually took weeks or months, and it's not 10x faster, because when we say 10x, 10 times, it's not just 10 times more profit. It can be 10 times more ethical, it can be 10 times faster, it can be 10 times many things. It depends what you're looking at. And in this case, they delivered it maybe 100 times faster than usual, because they were able to deliver this in 3 days. And when you're talking about an earthquake, and your potential, when you have been touched by concern by the damages, then you want this to happen immediately and not in 3 weeks. You don't have time. And they seized this opportunity with different emergency situations, and with COVID they were able to react very fast. And so this was the sprint that transformed the culture and that allowed them, not only, I'm not even talking about doubling the revenue and all that, and now they are the top insurance company since they have been through the sprint process the first time, and then they have done it again and again internally. They have embodied the sprint model and the EXO methodology. And they were able to do the 10 weeks in just a few days and release the new service. And they are regulated. So they had to manage that on top of all the regular things.
Wow, that's an incredible experience, man. Thank you so much, Younis, for sharing that. A Mexican insurance company was able to really benefit from this sprint process that you've taken them through, right? So that's really awesome. Maxim, what about you, man? You got a story to share?
Yeah, before that, I just want to add on the fact, Younis, in fact, the Airbnb idea, actually Marriott kind of come out with it, but it's like Kodak, right? They see it's gonna kill their business, they don't start it. So after Airbnb started, they also started, but then the moment they started, COVID happened. So the rest is history. So anyway, for me, as soon as I was certified as a sprint coach, I wanted to be a living testimony. So the first company I want to work on is my own company, right? I got to really walk the talk. So it was all the amazing tool, but the moment it hits the reality, I realized that, oops, the foundation for me to start building this is not there. So what happened? I started to hire the people who know process the best, right? People from KPMG to help me set the foundation. And then I realized having the process also not enough, right? So what else can I do? So rather than what else, my question starting to change. Who else? So I started to bringing not only one, I bring in actually two project manager who has extensive experience. They are all young people, experience with technology and all that. Again, then there's the cultural issue, right, between the old team and the new team. So and then in the midst of that was also trying to create new business model and trying to align the existing process of this. I'm talking about the mineral water here, yeah. So as the real case, we experimented with various technology platform like event platform. Even we kind of experiment with that. But then again, it's like a lot of failure. But then from the failure we learn, right? And also the one that almost take off is actually the we started this thing to collect the used cook oil. It was actually generating a traction. And in fact, it created much more demand than we can handle. And we also realized that we are disappointing a lot of people because our business process and our channel management was not tailored to do that. So imagine, I come to your house, used to be like, I come to your house, I offer, hey, you want to buy a gallon of water? And people like, most likely they say no. But how about, hey, I come to your house, let me collect your used cook oil and I'll give you like a point which you can use to buy many things. So that was actually we opened many doors within like 3 months. We collected about 10 tons of used cook oil, and then we got the financial model. But then again, like there's this we're disappointing more people, and then like my people are coming in and out. So the when I look at the framework, the implementation, walking towards this is like not as easy as it seems. So it's like as if you're watching Marie Kondo movie, Marie Kondo transformation. You see how Marie Kondo does her magic, and then I want to do that in my house, and you look like what? That's the mess that you need to fix. So I'm still on the way, progressing still. I'm still having the vision of one day it's gonna be water from atmosphere. That was like the long term, like because we have the plastic issue and whatever, right? And then on that way is also tailoring, most importantly, the people engineering, the culture engineering, then the business process engineering. How does every step, milestone building towards that transformation, even the data ability, how we can become a technology. And also the one of the hire I did was to hire a CTO or someone who really know technology to help integrate all the different technology. So that's pretty much my experience. It's not very nice experience. But yeah, so the reason I share this, so if let's say you feel the same way, or you will not, I hope that you will not step the same shit I did step. Yeah, that's my hope for you.
Younis, Maxim, thank you guys so much for sharing, because here's what I got from both of what you shared. It's when organizations, leaders in organizations are willing to take that step to say, okay, let's figure this out. How can I work through this? What are the steps that I need to overcome? And where, and again, it starts with the person, right? It starts with you, the leader. It doesn't start with more hiring, or it doesn't start with more processes or more systems, but it starts with you, and you setting that culture, you setting this team that you're wanting to build. I'm sure some people here are like, okay, so why are you guys doing this? Why do you want to be here and share and help others to really navigate and work through these challenges? I think, Maxim, you've kind of shared that you've experienced your own challenges, and you've seen the dirty part of it. Younis, what about you, man? Like, what is it that makes you want to share this framework, and you starting this company here in Indonesia and 10x, right? Taking it 10 times, right? Or 100 times, as you say. Well, let's just start with you, Younis. What is it that you want to give? What is it that you want to share? What is it that you want to offer?
Thank you. So what really got me into EXO is that I was working for the public sector in Luxembourg in Europe for many years, for 8 years, and I was reading this book, the EXO book from Sahil, So I discovered it, I think it was the summer 2017, 2018, I discovered the book. And I realized, what if we could apply the EXO model to government, to the public sector? Because I was working for the public sector at the time. And I got so excited about that, and I started looking at opportunities to help the public sector transform. But then I faced one of the strongest immune systems, because you have, in a company, you are driven mostly by profit. Hopefully this will change. But if you're not, if there are some companies that manage not being profitable, but they are backed by their investors. And but mostly companies, I mean, they start from 0 or minus, and they just grow. And when you talk about 10x, we have this dimension, which is very important. With the public sector, with the government, they have a budget that is pre-allocated for a certain amount of time, and then they consume it. So we're talking about being more efficient, being able to do more with less. So it's a completely different approach. But still, it has been the EXO model has been successfully implemented with cities, with regions, even with discussions at the head of state level. Salim had different discussions with heads of states to apply the EXO methodology to run the country. So this is you can actually you can use EXO if you're one person and you want to do to be like an exponential individual, and you can have all kinds of gadgets, Oura Ring, connected watch to measure your health. I see that Maxim has the Oura Ring. So you can have all these gadgets, which are actually very useful, because sometimes they can save your life if they send information to your doctor or to just a relative, a friend or family, and they can literally save your life. So using these technologies, the EXO model, by embracing the exponential technologies, having a dashboard with all the things, having a network that you can activate, so you can do it at all levels. There is no limit. So that's what seduced me with the model, and I decided to give up a very well paid job in the public sector, 100K plus per year, to just give up everything and start from zero. And I did all the certifications with EXO. I went all in, and I started working on specializing in EXO to be able to sell it in order to really help anyone who is interested in the transformation. Lately, I've been more focused on corporates, on large organizations, on large companies. But I get this discussion comes very often also with in events with startups, with solopreneurs, and I always enjoy talking about that with the public sector. But this is not, at the moment, this is not my focus. I will come to that, but I'm now consolidating already the work with the multinationals.
Wow, well, Younis, thank you so much, man. It's so awesome that, again, you are, you really dive into this, and you've really seen the impact on governments, on large organizations. And here we are, some of us here are small, medium enterprise business owners that just want to make it through this, want to work this out. But really awesome that you're really sharing. And I'm about to ask at the end, I'm about to go to one more question before we go to Q&A. But Maxim, what about you, man? Do you want to share a bit about why are you doing this, man?
Yeah, before I share that, what Younis said reminds me of our conversation we had in our last forum. Remember the 3D printing guy? So he was saying, right, that Indonesia is actually having a shortage of housing problem it's always increasing. So the 3D printing actually, they already successfully printed a house. Imagine they can print at scale and actually solve Indonesia housing problem because of the backlog due to COVID. They cannot build, and for whatever reason, and it's all autonomous, and the cost is going to be lower. And the terms of quality, they already lab tested, is like 4 to 8 times much more than the existing cement. So it's gonna solve the world's greatest problem. And for me, the reason is very personal. I got married. I have a daughter. I was meditating. one of the vision I see is, if I leave this world with and my daughter with good wealth, what does it mean if, let's say, she cannot see the blue sky and the green earth, the trees? At that moment, I was like in a hotel, so I was near to that. So that resonated with me a lot. So that's also where the vision about aligning people, profit, and the planet becoming one into the philosophy of the idea of circularity. So it's like an expansion, continuous expansion and alignment. Or is for some of you who are from Bali, of course you know this phrase Ohana Dharma Trihita Karana. So the Ohana Dharma, something added from me, but Trihita Karana is to be harmony with people, God, and nature. So the EXO, I see it as a tool that can advance the human race forward, but not only in terms of people and the profit, but what's the point, right? If it destroys the earth, right? So it has to solve the greatest problem. Like, we see our temperature keep rising. Last year, you see Indonesia start raining ice. It will become a concern because you see all the apocalyptic movie. They started with raining ice in a place that they shouldn't be raining ice. So is our future generation, our children's children, gonna be like what Elon Musk envisioned, right? Multiplanetary species. We have to migrate, or Earth will still be livable. So I want to believe that Earth still can be livable, and I will do everything in my power just to make sure that, when I leave this world, my daughter look at the blue sky, look at the green earth, and then she reminded of me, of my love, that the sky and the green trees and the earth that she lived painted how much I love her. So that was the reason why. Very personal. That's me.
Wow. Thank you guys so much, Maxim, for sharing that. If anybody is not really just touched right now, like, come on, I hope that you guys are we are so grateful right now to be in this call, to hear from Younis and Maxim as they're just sharing and really wanting to support and help others. And actually, I have something special and unique for everybody here, but stay tuned because we're gonna go to that. I have a special offer that was just told to me that I can share with you guys tonight. But I want to go to the questions because some of the audience members have a few questions, and really great questions here. We've got the first question here from Sherilyn, asking about, we were talking about key trends, right? The Younis talking about disruption. So her question is, what are some key trends that are driving disruption today? How would you guys address that? Maxim, you want to go first?
Okay, well, for me, I'm a avid learner. One of the talent map by Gallup is learner, so I always love to learn, right? So, and I also learn about investing. You can Google big ideas by ARK Invest. So they actually ETF in the US that invest in biotechnology, blockchain, any technology that potentially change the human race forward, including AI. So that is also one place to go. And then if you got additional budget, please subscribe to places like Singularity University or Abundance 360. Over there, you meet a global community of where they see all this technology. Oh, yes, please join Open EXO. This is also a place where you can find about key trends and the future.
Networking. This is the thing. Networking. You can do the hard research yourself, or you can just network with others who have an into what's happening in the trends. Younis, any thoughts from you, man?
Yeah, I think it's you have, like, if you remember the Gutenberg moment, like that was a long time ago. Now we have like tens of Gutenberg moments all happening at the same time. So there is this this book of Peter Diamandis which explains how the exponential technologies are converging. So you have the acceleration of the acceleration, and this is a very important concept that you don't just look at one exponential technology, but when you have all this coming at the same time and you combine them, you automate. You can do things, for example, with voice control. Now using ChatGPT in the background, you can have like those Boston Dynamics robot dogs, for example, just be activated with the voice. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying it's possible. So you can combine voice with ChatGPT model type of models, with robots. You can combine that with plenty of other exponential technologies. Maxim mentioned a few. And yeah, I would say that if you look at our drones, just think about what you can do with drones. And maybe autonomy and drones don't go well together. In this case, autonomy for people, but not for drones.
Not for drones. Don't get...
So just look at those 20, 30 technologies that are virtual reality. We talked about the metaverse. Now we are putting it a bit on, not on pause, but people say that Web3 is actually backed by AI and not by all the immersive tech. But those technologies are continue to evolve, and at some point you will have all this together integrated seamlessly in a... It's not like in 5 or 10 years. It's coming very soon. And now we're in this big wave of AI. All the attention is on AI. You have these curves, and once we get more mature about the technology, then you have the deceptive phase. I mean, you have plenty of models that explain all these cycles, and you can see in the Gartner curves, for example, where the Internet of Things are now more mature. Artificial intelligence, depending on what you talk about, because you have to be precise also. If you talk about AI, it's very broad. It has been around for decades, but it's only ChatGPT is only now known by most people that are not experts. Like grandmas who heard about ChatGPT who have no idea what it is, and so it has reached now the general audience. So this is the big difference now. But there are plenty of exponential technologies, and Maxim listed some of the key sources.
You mentioned a bit about the curve, right? These and this leads to our next question from Ibnu. He's asking, how can we identify potential disruptors to stay ahead of the curve? What would you say to that, Younis?
In which sector? Is it possible to know in which sector?
Ibnu, if you got that, yeah, we're asking which sector. I think
you can ask ChatGPT. That would be the first thing. I'm not saying the answer will be correct, but it's a good starting point to. That's what I do very often when I'm not feeling much inspired. I just start interacting. I use Google. I use ChatGPT. If I'm not convinced, or if I want to validate, I also do some more research myself. I try to find the strong research, like from publications, peer-reviewed publications, or then I will go to my network. But if it's about startups, if it's really looking at the competition.
Yep. What about let's say, for example, the manufacturing sector? How would you identify potential disruptors there?
So like this, startups, for example, are people who are really innovative.
I see. So
yes,
go ahead.
So for this, so that's what we do in this exploration phase in a sprint. We have different tools that we use. So very often we go to sources like from Singularity University. We have interviews with experts. So we approach it from different angles. We have the classical research, so we use Google. We have some key platforms that we use. We have some interviews with industrial experts that are supposed to know about this. We can also book advisors. We have advisors tickets that we can book in the project. So this is all part of the process. But you need to be focused on one industry. Like you can have one industry which has different segments, but it's important to set the scope for that, because otherwise you can just spend endless time just doing research, and then as soon as you're done with your report, it's already outdated. That's what is happening now. You do a report, and 10 days later you have like new startups popping out of from stealth mode out of nowhere.
Okay, so don't do it on.
So it's a continuous effort. you do it when you need it, but you must keep an eye on it. So when you do the sprint, you cannot just say we do it in the first week and we just ignore it. You must continue. You have people who constantly update, look at the references, and check if there is not something new coming. And sometimes it comes out of nowhere. ChatGPT for many people came out of nowhere for many people.
Yeah. A lot of the public didn't know about even a tool such as that existed, and now a lot of even influencers and even basic people are using it, and they've only touched the basic and they've only had
non-experts. Yeah, I
prefer
to say like non-experts, because the researchers, the experts, industrial experts who have been around like AI and understand the underlying models and everything, they of course they knew what was coming. I mean, they were prepared for that. But that's what happens when you have an exponential technology. You have the digitization, the deceptive phase, and then it explodes. And that's when it overcomes the linear part. It just explodes. And then people don't know what to do if they're not prepared.
What I'm generally catching is there's tools out there. Use it or lose it. That's what I'm catching out there, right? So to stay ahead of the game, you gotta use it
and narrow down the scope. It's important to have focus on certain verticals. If you're looking like at energy, it's already very broad, so it's important to be to look at that. And then once you're in your industry, of course, you look at, okay, for example, if you're in the security domain, you can be disrupted by biology, because the DNA sampling costs tends to zero. So you can have in a room just swiping, physically taking all the samples, the DNA, sampling it, and then you can de-anonymize. You can know who was there physically. So you can track people with that DNA. So if you're in the security business, you can be disrupted by digital biology. People don't think about that. So these are the kinds of things that we talk about with OpenExo, Singularity University, all these exponential 10x platforms.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much. Maxim, any comment?
For me, again, it's network, right? So if I wouldn't have networked OpenExo, EO Entrepreneur Organization, I wouldn't have known about Salim Ismail. I wouldn't go research Abundance 360. And I wouldn't even know about, Kathy, the queen of technology, talking about all the exponential technology. So then I give you a real case. I was calculating with future forecasted cash flow. When do I need to replace my people in the manufacturing sector? Yeah, when do I need to replace my people with robotic? Because I see one of the product of Boston Dynamics actually robot that picks up, because the costs are going down like over the year. And if you know, in Indonesia long enough, minimum wages is increasing like 10 to 15% a year. So it's just a matter of time, right? Before these robots is actually much better than human, and they don't go outside the street and disrupt our workflow. And then I also think about how does it work in government? Sometimes there are so many rules in Indonesia. So imagine those rules, books of rules and laws are inputted into like this ChatGPT of Indonesia, and let's call it some name, and then we can ask Garuda, for example. We can ask the Garuda for what is the rule if, let's say, I'm facing this thing live, So we have this, we know the law on demand, and we don't have to hire a lawyer. So stay there. And by the way, I think because you are here, there is a material that will be sent to you to help you identify how you can navigate with the challenges and what strength you need to build to embrace this disruptive technology.
Okay, Maxim, this is interesting. So now people are gonna everybody, by the way, has been in this call. Nobody's left yet, which is awesome. So you guys are interested because Maxim just pointed out something that you guys will get at the end of this. I see Tenaya Santika is giving me a thumbs up, so you're excited for that. So thank you, Maxim. Maxim and Younis, I got one more question from the audience, and then we're going to do a little wrap up because I feel like we can talk about this all day or we can do something about it. And I want to give the chance for everybody here to really experience the next step. This one is from Tenaya Santika, right? Or Tenaya, sorry, from Tenaya. One of our startups is about empowering LGBTQIA Indonesia at Equality Rights Indonesia X. Instead of adopting IoT and AI, we're still all about simple digital transformation. reaching more people than before, furthermore triggering changes in public policy. Can't imagine yet how to adopt ML on these matters yet. Any ideas? Maxim or Younis, who would like to answer that one?
So it really depends on the data that so what are you currently capturing, what data, because we talked about the EXO, you have these exponential technologies that generate an abundance of data. You capture this data and you transform it to make it to take it at your advantage basically, and then to grow along this exponential tech and this data. So what data are you capturing at the moment? Because the machine learning will be trained on this data that will be constantly growing. And this is really important. And if you don't capture, you have to think about first on the paper, what you actually want to achieve, and then like reverse engineer to know what you need to measure. And I agree that the digitization is the very like first step. Without digitization, you cannot do anything. So you need what Maxim explained before, a certain readiness. You cannot just jump into EXO if you're not digitized, if you don't have certain things in place. So this is it's a very nice framework to know about, which gives you some structure. But you need, of course, to do some homework, some readiness before being able to do that. So to answer the question, it's really important to look at what you measure. Maybe it's good, but you could measure other things, capture other data, and I would need to know more about your platform, what it does, how it works, to give more detailed answer. But definitely, it's all about the data, the quantity, the quality, and the type, like the type of data that you're measuring. And if you can combine different data sets, this is also very powerful, because you can also, and then you can visualize that in your dashboards that we discussed about. I would say if I just, based on the keywords community, so this is one of the key aspects of an EXO. So you already have that. With the digitization, you're growing your community. We grew OpenEXO from a few hundred in COVID. So it accelerated. COVID was a huge accelerator for OpenEXO. We went for really like small to now like critical mass, 22,000 with different levels. And so the engagement, this was one other attribute, is very important for such a platform. How do you engage, for example, how do you first you attract people? How do you reach out to people? How do you attract them to your platform? How do you communicate? How do you keep people engaged on your platform? And how can you incentivize them? So gamification would be something to explore for sure. As you mentioned, algorithms for sure. You can, if your platform is growing, you can do lots of things, but this needs some more details on the input. And the stuff on demand could also make sense for such a model. So you have already a few attributes. And what we didn't say is that if you're a startup, if you're an entrepreneur, you must implement the 11 attributes, the MTP, the scale, and ideas attributes. If you're a large company, you can get away with just 4 or 5, because you already have revenue. You're already so you will outsmart your competition if you implement a few EXO attributes. But you must have an MTP in any case, plus a few attributes. But if you're an entrepreneur, you need all of them. There is no compromise, because you're competing with everyone, including the big guy.
Okay, so for me, my version of that answer, I think that makes me feel, because of that question, I will send additional resources. It's called the Sentient Enterprise, written by my mentor, Mohan. Talk about the Sentient Enterprise, right? So at the first level is the data agility or the data availability. So you have those data, that's level 1. But to become a sentient enterprise is to increase the sophistication and the capability, so that eventually you go to level 2. You can analyze behavior. It's called the behavior analytics. And then from the behavior analytics, it become automated analytics. You can go to collaborative ideation. This is where man and machine and your team work together to solve problem. And then To the next level, it become an analytics application platform, right? So all the different cases inputted, and then there is a higher capability of machine learning. Maybe you start putting it there to understand and automate the decision making, or have assisted decision making for the human. And then at the highest level, this is on the full self-driving. If you follow Tesla closely, imagine those data points they have collected from their vehicles. They already know some behavior. What they are building now is probably a collaborative ideation of different cases, how to keep people safe. But eventually, give it maybe 3 to 5 years. Even the longest is 10 years. But of course, Indonesia will be different story. Tesla hasn't learned anything yet if they haven't drive in Indonesian roads. So yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Try in Bali.
Try in Bali. Yeah, that's a good one.
Driving in Bali.
That's a good test ground.
Again, you need readiness. So the readiness in Bali would be the infrastructure, and then you can build on top of it, digitize.
Yeah. So this is the 5 level for me.
Awesome. Maxim, Younis, honestly, what a great conversation. This has been an hour that we've just been chatting, and you guys have just been sharing. I just want to thank you so much, guys, for your time and your willingness to really support all these entrepreneurs. Like I told you guys, the ones us to not just take these concepts that we've talked about, but let's learn how we can apply it and really maybe go on that journey of maybe going on that sprint journey of 10 weeks and really transforming, right? This word transform is like caterpillar to butterfly transformation kind of thing, right? Where you're going to just soar and fly with your organization, with your different communities that you guys are a part of. If you guys liked what Maxim and Younis were sharing, like what they're about, I actually want to invite you guys to join an offline workshop, right? I want to put up a slide right now on the screen where we're going to talk about an offline workshop that you guys can be a part of. I want to ask the team right now to please post the workshop flyer so that we can share it. Thank you so much. There it is, guys. Disrupt or be disrupted. 3 secrets of future ready leaders. It's going to be on the 24th of May, 2023 from 8 to 5. So it's an all-day thing at the Shangri-La Hotel in Jakarta. What you guys are going to get, a few things. You're going to get the exponential quotient assessment, business made simple assessment, a discovery call with both Younis and Maxim. You guys are going to be able to talk directly with them. You're going to get the draft EXO initiative for your company or organization and the 1-page strategy plan for that EXO. Because again, this is not just something that we just want you to just learn and try to apply yourself, but these guys are ready to help your companies and organizations transform and be future ready, future proof, to really be able to go through all this disruption, all the ups and downs, and be able to, yes, again, future proof, be future ready leaders to future proof your organizations. And now and this is just starting already. I think there's an early bird. Oh my goodness, there it is. The super early bird only for the next 5 more days. So it already started since April, but only until the 15th of May. It's a 50% discount, 5 million, right? 50%. There is a code that you got to use when you go sign up. So there's a sign up, and we've already put it in the Zoom chat. There's a sign up link that you guys can be a part of. Use the super early bird code so you can get the discount, because after the 15th, it's going to go up to an early bird, which is 7.5. And then after that, normal price for 10 million. So you guys, because you joined tonight, get a special deal. And we don't want you guys to miss out, because this is the chance. This is your chance to turn disruption into an opportunity to achieve 10 times exponential growth for your business. It's so incredible. You guys should really be part of this. Make sure you sign up. The link is in the WhatsApp. I'm sorry, in the Zoom. And can I just real quick, can I just say it? Can I ask right in the Zoom chat right now? Just tell me, I'm interested. Is anybody interested? You don't have to say you're going to sign up, but maybe you want more information. Maybe you want to know what am I going to get out of this? Can you guys put in the Zoom chat? I got a, oh my goodness, someone gave me, we're doing a sign here. Thank you so much. Abin's going to be there. Come on, Abin. Thank you so much. Abin is already going to be there. I think he's probably already signed up. tell me, just write in the Zoom chat, I'm interested or I want more information if you guys want to know more about this workshop where Maxim and Younis will be there to really support you guys. Let me see in the Zoom chat. I see more emoticons in there. And again, we've already posted a few links where you guys can. Anang, thank you so much. Anang wants more information. We've already posted a few links up above where you guys can get in touch. You guys can get connected through LinkedIn with Maxim and Younis. Yes, at IG at ID Tanaya Santika. Maybe yes, fly again. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Come to Jakarta. You're the guy in Bali, right? Or someone here was in Bali, someone here is in other places. Come to Jakarta. Ibnu, you're saying yes with a rocket ship, so I think you want to fly as well. Anybody else that's interested, I just want to know. I'm just curious because we got a few minutes left. But if you're interested in that workshop, if you're interested in transforming your company, I mean, I'm gonna say yes. I'm interested. I'm interested right now in transforming. I have an organization that develops leaders through trainings, and so I want to be able to take that into. I want to transform that so that maybe I will future proof myself. So anybody else, get in the Zoom chat because we still have 5 more days, guys, in this early bird. Okay, that's it. No more selling for me because I'm gonna let you guys take what you've already experienced tonight. I want to thank Younis and Maxim so much for their time. Before we close out tonight, can I just ask you guys to share just a quick, what's your take? What's the takeaway that you want everybody to walk away with? What's your last inspirational comment that you want to give before everybody logs off tonight? And we're going to start with Maxim. Maxim, what do you got tonight, man, for all of our participants?
Okay, sorry, my camera is also acting up like you do. It's getting zooming in on my face. Okay, so anyway, it's again just a simple quote. If you want to predict the future, invent it. Take the first step. And the best time to start is now. That's for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maxim. Younis, what about you, man? One last word for everybody here tonight.
Invest in yourself.
That's it. That's straight and simple to the point. Maxim, Younis, thank you guys so much for sharing, for being a part of this discussion. I want to thank all the people that have joined on tonight, wherever you are in the world. Thank you guys so much for joining. Stay tuned because we may have another webinar. But again, I hope to see you guys offline at that workshop. Don't forget to register. My name is Josh. Hoping you guys well wishes. And thank you so much. Have a great night, guys. See you next time. Good night, guys.
You.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.